Do you know which creative genius came from South Africa, was bullied as a kid, coded his own video game at 10 years old, worked on a farm in Canada, created a payment system we all use today, redefined space exploration while taking over the automotive industry, inspired Tony Stark from Iron Man, and was willing to risk everything to further the human race? That would be the one and only Elon Musk. Let's dive into the art of innovation. Elon Musk was born in 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa, about 1 hour from Johannesburg, and named after his great-grandfather, John Elon Haldeman. To understand who Elon Musk is today, you actually need to meet his grandfather, Joshua Norman Haldeman. Growing up in Minnesota, his grandfather was known for bronco riding, boxing, and wrestling. Adventurous would be an understatement. After becoming a chiropractor and meeting Wynn, a Canadian dance instructor, they married and moved to Canada. He soon bought a little red plane and flew it all over North America. After becoming tired of Canadian politics, Joshua decided to move his entire family to South Africa, which included boxing up the red plane and shipping it overseas. There are so many amazing stories of Elon's grandparents and their 5 kids, including Elon's mom, May. They flew that red plane all over Africa, Europe, and even to Australia. My favorite story involved an expedition into the wild where their truck hit a tree stump. It took 3 days for Joshua to fix the truck while the rest of the family hunted for food. One morning, they woke up to a lion not 3 feet from them. Elon's grandpa was like Indiana Jones, but married with kids. You can see where Elon probably got his sense of adventure and love for flying. May, Elon's mom, an incredibly smart and beautiful woman, was a finalist for Miss South Africa and modeled for Vogue and Elle magazines. May married Elon Musk, a mechanical and electrical engineer from South Africa. Barely 9 months later in 1971, Elon was born. The couple had 3 kids, Elon, Kimball, and Tosca. When Elon was young, he had a hard time focusing, something he and I definitely have in common, and would drift off into his own world. His parents even took him to the doctor because they thought he might be deaf. Elon read all the time, so much so that the library at his school ran out of books for him to read. Once they ran out of books, he turned to Encyclopedia Britannica, and he loved it. Elon quickly became known as the fact nerd and had a difficult time making friends and was bullied often. Actually, bullying would be putting it nicely. One time he was kicked down the stairs and beaten so badly he missed school for a week. At age 10, Elon saw his first computer at the mall, a Commodore VIC-20, which came with 5 kilobytes of memory and a workbook on basic programming language. Elon stayed awake for 3 days and read the entire book. He ended up writing the source code for a game called Blaster, which he sold in 1984 for $500. Not too bad. Everything wasn't always great in South Africa. Elon's relationship with his dad was really difficult, and apartheid was in full swing, leading to radical racial segregation and the killing of many black South Africans. Elon knew he had to get out. Finally, at age 17, Elon took a plane to Canada, his first step to the US. He tracked down some extended family in Saskatchewan and worked on a farm shoveling grain for a year. Next step was to enroll in Queen's University in Ontario in 1989, and Elon's mom, brother, and sister moved to Canada as well. While at Queen's University, Elon finally found his people and became much more confident. In 1992, with a scholarship, he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, where he majored in economics and physics. Elon and his good friend Adio Ressi bought a house together, which they turned into a nightclub on the weekends, charging $5 per person. They would make the whole month's rent in one night. At Penn, Elon dove into his passion for solar energy and wrote a 44-page paper on ultracapacitors. After a cross-country road trip with his brother Kimball in 1994, the brothers decided to move to California to tackle the internet. They decided to create a company called Zip2, which was a searchable directory for businesses utilizing maps, a huge idea at the time. Keep in mind, this is when the Yellow Pages was pretty much the only option. Elon and Kimball lived in the office, with Elon having to sleep on a beanbag near his desk. In the morning, they headed to the local YMCA to shower. Kimball was sales and Elon was coding. What amazes me is Elon taught himself to code and how to manage people on the job, which is anything but easy. Finally, not even 3 years later, Compaq Computers bought Zip2 for $307 million in cash. Elon walked away with $22 million of that. Not a bad payday, and definitely got him and his brother showering outside of the YMCA. Let's get one thing straight here. Elon, at 28 years old, could have easily retired, invested his money, and that's it. But what defines an entrepreneur is the inability to stop creating and innovating. That said, the online banking industry was next on his radar. This was 1998, when people were literally scared to buy anything online. Give you my credit card info? Are you crazy? Not a chance, America Online. However, Elon thought he could create not just an online payment system, but an entirely new way to bank. He started X.com, which went live in 1999 and allowed you to make person-to-person payments. In 2 months, they had over 200,000 users. But a company down the road called Confinity was creating something very similar. By 2001, the companies merged, renaming X.com to PayPal. Short term, it was frustrating for Elon as they ousted him as CEO. But long term, it was epic. In 2002, eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion. Elon, a major shareholder and advisor, saw $250 million of that. Whoa. Of course, only $180 million after taxes. Elon now turned his attention to something he always loved: space. His goal: exploration, and more precisely, get to Mars. As I mentioned before, Elon and his grandfather had a lot in common.